What's going on YouTube? My name is Mr. Crippled, and today I'm going to be bringing you my thoughts on the three new gods, Izanami, Khepri, and Nemesis. Now, before I get into the video, don't forget to like, comment, and subscribe, and if you'd like to keep up with any future content, I will be leaving a link to my Discord and my Twitch in the description below. Now, the first god I want to go over is Izanami. Izanami, from Smite 1 has always just been a split pusher, always banking on her invisibility to get those split waves going, out clearing the enemy god that's in front of her. She can box with her one, but overall her damage was kind of mediocre. In this game, I hope they kind of rectified that, and for the most part, they kind of did. She saw two new changes coming into Smite 2. Her one now does bleed damage over time after hitting an auto. Still gives you the crazy amount of attack speed off of it. As you can see, it does do pretty minor tick damage with the one. It does scale with strength and intelligence, so you can build a little bit of intelligence to make that one hit a little bit harder to bleed damage. But for the most part, since most of her abilities will scale with strength, as you can see here, you're more than likely going to be building her mostly physical items with some magical DPS items, such as Bracer or Broggy's Harp. I can't really imagine putting anything other than those two items on her, since her scaling towards intelligence is just way stronger, or her scaling towards strength is just way stronger comparatively. Another thing that she got changed is her ultimate. It still has a big silence. Um, it still has a silence, and now it comes with tick damage. As you can see, if I could show you real quick, it now does physical damage over time, a pretty healthy amount. Again, that tick damage does scale with both physical damage and intelligence. So building for both can be really nice. And now it does also have a slow. So pretty huge 1v1 ultimate. Can make some differences in team fights. I was never partial to her ultimate in team fights, mostly because it didn't really come with a lot of utility. But now that it does have the slow and the tick damage on it, it's going to be a lot more scary to deal with. And the only other change that we saw is with her 3. Now, during the invis, she does gain a little bit of movement speed. Doesn't really tell you how much movement speed you gain from this. I don't know if this is a bug or not. Even if you go into the God's Leg screen, it doesn't give you any numerical values. But according to the patch notes that came out 2 days ago, it does give her more movement speed. So I would just take that with a grain of salt. Up next, I want to talk about Nemesis. Now, Nemesis saw two pretty good changes in this game. For one, the biggest thing for me is that now she's going to feel more like a warrior, and she's going to be doing numbers in solo lane. The biggest change that she got was her 3. Now, if you don't know what her 3 used to do, it just gives her a pretty big health shield that reflected damage based on the damage she took. The problem with the shield is that once she gets hit with CC, she really doesn't gain anything. And if people are smart, they're not going to hit her while she's in her 3 because the 3 does heal her. Now, it's way better in a solo lane aspect because the shield that she gains can also give her health off of all damage sources, not just gods. So if you're boxing in the middle of the lane with Bluestone, activate the 3, the minions attacking you back will give you health back. The shield also scales off of your max health. So, the tankier you are, the more health you have, the bigger the health shield is going to be. The heal scales with intelligence, so you can justify getting bracers or even like Soul Reaver for the solo laners, that you can do a little bit of extra magical damage. And the reflecting damage also scales with strength. So hybrid items are going to be very important on her, such as Shifter Shield, maybe even Stone of Binding for the slow on her too. But the shield saw a lot of good changes. I'm hoping that this is going to kind of shake up solo lane a little bit. I don't think she's going to be making waves, to be 100% honest with you. I think she's going to be very annoying to deal with in the first couple of weeks, especially with people learning how to deal with this shield and dealing with her ultimate. The only other big change that she did see was that the 2 is a little bit bigger, the center point. That way it does the extra bit of damage, because in her 2, if you hit it in the dead center, you get a slow, and the move does, I think, double the damage, I believe. Yeah, they take double the damage. The only other change that she did see was the ultimate, where you can hit in an area with the ultimate, but it's only going to steal attributes from the original enemy god hit. It's not really going to steal it from everybody. It's only going to steal it from the person with the highest protections. All the enemies are still debuffed and slowed, which is really nice. So if you do manage to hit multiple enemies, you can debuff them all, but you're only going to get the benefit from one person. But again, this cone is very, very small, so the likelihood you're going to hit 2 or 3 people, heck, hitting 2 people is going to be very unlikely. But you just still walk up, you aim at the tank, you steal their protections, and you slow them, and then you just become mad tanky for the rest of the duration. The only other thing is that the ability now, the ability does do damage in addition to the current health damage, meaning if you build strength or intelligence, you will be able to actually kill with this ability. So if they're far away and you can't seem to get that last hit, you can use this ultimate to kill them. Since now it doesn't just do current health damage, it actually does base damage as well. Uh, it's a welcome change. It's not really a huge one. I don't think you're really going to be using this to kill anyway. For the most part, you're going to be using this to engage. That way you don't die and you can actually be semi-tanky when you're going in, especially with a lack of real CC. So having this ability as a kill move doesn't really change much, but being able to affect multiple people with it does. The final god and my favorite support in the game that I want to talk about is Khepri. Now, Khepri basically came in with a bunch of changes, and he still has his base kit, and I think he's definitely going to shake up the support meta. I think you're going to be seeing him a lot in high levels of play, and I think you're going to be seeing him a lot in even casual levels of play because his kit is just so good. Plus, who can deny a revive? Revives are way too clutch, especially with the game now where getting killed in this game is so much easier. Having a Khepri being added is a very welcome change. The biggest changes we saw are going to be to his 2 and his ultimate, and a little bit of a quality of life change in his 1. Now, if you know Khepri back from Smite 1, the 1 is just this gigantic pull. Really nice. Nothing really changed too much from that, except now, during the duration of the pull, if I can go ahead and reset my cooldowns, you can actually cast your ultimate. So you can pull somebody off of someone and then immediately cast your ultimate. The only downside to this being is that the ultimate will, the pull itself will cancel the second you activate the ultimate, but it is still very nice because in some situations when you're trying to protect the entire team and you pull one person, where you pull one person but somebody else is getting pressured, you can pull the primary target and then still ult somebody. You can also, as you can see, move a little bit more during the drag. You can actually move left and right to pull them into more unsafe positions, but still very much a welcome change. The next change I want to talk about is his 2. Now, as you can see here, there's a little AoE at the end. What this ability used to do is that it used to do tick damage to enemy gods and reduce their protections, while also giving his team, damage mitigation. What they changed is now at the end, there's a little bit of a delayed explosion that will still apply the debuff, still apply the it'll still apply the debuffs, it'll still apply the buffs, and now Khepri can benefit from his own 2. He can't benefit from it while the ability is going forward, but after the explosion, he will gain those damage mitigations. So you can basically throw this into any team fight or any clearing moment, and it'll not only help your ADC clear, but it'll also give you the much needed tankiness that you need if you want to be more frontlining and be more aggressive. The last thing that I want to talk about, which I think again is very crazy for the ultimate, is that now, one new effect that it gave is that it gives strength and intelligence to the target that you hit. Pretty huge in the grand scheme of things because now they just gain a bunch of power and they can just die freely and be very scary to deal with, especially if you're dealing with somebody who is an all-in, like a Loki, getting all the extra protection so he can do whatever he wants, and then the ultimate will drag him back to Khepri once he dies. The other thing is that if he manages to successfully ult somebody and they revive, he will also gain 2 of each protections each time he successfully revives an ally, and that buff has no duration or stat cap, which basically means every single time you successfully revive somebody, you are gaining 2 protections. So building World Stone on this character might actually be very beneficial. You're already going to be building cooldowns anyway, and having a little bit of power as a support is never bad. However, also being able to spam a revive ult is going to be absolutely insane. those are basically my thoughts. I really do think that the only two people who are really going to be making waves in the game right now are probably going to be Khepri and Nemesis. Izanami does seem nice, and the change that she got do seem nice, and she does seem better in team fight scenarios. But at the end of the day, I just personally feel like physical ADCs right now are struggling, mostly because the hybrid items are just way too strong on these gods that can do both intelligence and strength scaling damage. Now she does come with her own intelligence scaling, but I don't think the intelligence scaling that she gets with it is really going to make her that much more of a threat. The only thing that she's really going to be good for is the split pushing, which is nice. But at the end of the day, this is a rotation meta, and people can rotate on you a little bit way too easy. So being able to do that is not really too important. But a revive character and a god that can take protections away from tanks when tanks are very strong right now, those are going to definitely shake things up. But let me know what you think in the comment section below. I will be doing more God Guide videos on all three of the gods here in the next couple of days. So please stay tuned for that. Thank y'all for watching, and y'all have a nice rest of your day.